Hello, my sweet friend. It's Christina, and welcome to a new episode of the Art K Coach podcast. Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to the Art Cake Coach podcast. My name is Cristina Revalo. I'm a sugar paste modeling artist, a teacher, a coach for cake artists, cake friends, Stay creative community manager, award-winning cake decorator, and representative of international cake competitions. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are a cake artist, a cake enthusiast, or a baker who is seeking some help in anything related to your time management, social media management, setting your goals for yourself or your business, your mindset towards your business, or even a few hints of how to be part of the international cake community, cake collaboration, and cake competitions, you are in the right place. So, welcome to today's episode. Well, hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to another episode of the Arcade Coach podcast. Christina here. I'm so happy to have you back here on a Tuesday morning, Lisbon, Portugal. It's around 8:24 in the morning. It's a shiny, beautiful summer day. So, welcome to today's episode. Before we start this episode, of course, I have some very small news to share, not too much to share this week. I just want to tell you that this year, in case you didn't know, I'm curating a new cake collaboration that is a mashup between Harry Potter and Fantastic Beast. We already had a cake collaboration like this 2 years ago, but it was just Harry Potter. This year, I decided to expand the topic. We have so many members, and I'm so happy to say that we are already receiving so many beautiful pieces for this collaboration. So stay tuned. Collaboration will air on September 1st, the day of returning to Hogwarts. So, of course, for us, Potterheads and people who love Harry Potter, we have to use these amazing dates in order to reveal this cake collaboration. So stay tuned. I will be giving more news about that. I'm sorry you cannot be part of this one because it's already closed for new members, but stay tuned to see it so you get very excited and you can be part of the next one. Also, I want to give a very special shout out today. Last week I have a beautiful, beautiful comment. I'm so happy because I always said this here when I do the episodes. When I'm working here in my office closed early in the morning, it's like there's no noise and I cannot see anyone. Hearing your comments from across the world, listening to my podcast, it really fills my heart. So today is for a big shout out to the Sweet Shallot Shop for Marisa Valentin. Marisa, thank you very much. She sent me a beautiful picture of the podcast on her car. She was on her way to work and she showed me that, I'm listening. And she gave me this beautiful comment that says, love your podcast. So inspiring. Thank you for sharing. I'd like to be you when I grow up. It's funny, Marisa, because I always use this phrase when I want to talk to people that I really admire and that I wanted to somehow learn from them. So you using that phrase back at me is like the universe telling me, okay, Christina, you're not doing things wrong. There must be something good you're doing. So thank you so much. Let's all be happy and inspired and work together as a community. um, Marisa, we've been talking and probably we're going to do some great things together. And you would like to be like me when I grow up. I want to be like you when I grow up. Let's not grow up. Let's just keep being kids inside. But let's just do that um, productively, creatively, and happily together. Let's do that. So, thank you, Marissa, so much. And let's start this episode. This is going to be, it's going to be fun. I don't know if it's fun, the word, but it's going to be very special episode. So, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with today's episode. Today's episode it's called Creativity Heals, and it's why it's called like that. Just let me give you a little background. I've always considered myself a very creative person. I embraced creativity very young, when I was very young, very early in life. For me, creativity was a bit of escape too, to a, to a different reality and a different world that I wanted to escape. Sometimes I'm not going to go into details, but it helped me cope with a lot of things. And I realized very early, also my mother, my grandmothers, all women in my family were very creative people with different mediums, very creative people. So I was always surrounded by creativity, and I not only I liked it, but I kind of felt comfortable doing it, because I mean, creativity is there for everyone, but producing creative things is not there for everyone. We know that there's people who has talent for some things, people who has talent for others. But for me, it was always there. It was a natural language, like maybe mathematics could be a natural language for some. It wasn't for me. For me, it was the creative part. So um I come to the conclusion through looking back in my life, and through understanding all the paths that led me until here today, that creativity has always played a healing process in my life. And that's why I wanted to call this episode Creativity Heals. Because lately I've been going through a lot of things, personally, with my health and some issues that I realized that I needed to get away from that somehow, maybe go back to escape from that reality. And I found myself back to being creative, and that has started a different healing journey. So I know it sounds all woo woo and whatever, but this month, because I didn't mention this before, actually, I want to dedicate this month to mindset for cake artists. I always say in the intro that Cake Friends Stay Creative has to do with, time management, goal setting, social media, but I always put in the word mindset towards your business. But actually, mindset towards your business is start with yourself. You cannot change your mindset about anything else if you don't change it, or at least embrace it of yourself. Because sometimes we don't want to change the mindset, we want to clear the path in our head and just embrace what we really are. We're going to get to all of this during this episode. I'm just giving you a little bit of everything here right now as an introduction. So let me start with by telling you how this personal journey started this year, okay, with creativity. Because like I said, when I look back at my life, at since I was a kid, creativity was also always a safe space. It was always an escape from a reality that I didn't want to face, or I didn't want to see. And I felt so comfortable being created. I felt so um in my zone, that I always go back there. And I this year, and that's where the story goes, this year I kind of forgot about that. And by the middle of the year, I realized I forgot how much I needed to be creative again in order to heal so many things inside. So let me start with the story. This year I stopped baking for customers. I decided for many reasons. One, I was kind of tired of the of the life of the baking process, the, the expensive. I mean, the ingredients, everything got so expensive that I had to raise my prices, and I had to adjust a lot of things. My customers were not used to these prices, so it was like, okay, this is the moment. It's like when you say, when you're an artist, and you say, okay, I'm in my peak, I'm in a good spot, so I'm just going to gracefully walk away. So I decided to do that. I decided to stop baking. I still do the sugar paste modeling. Like last week, I had a client, two clients that wanted just the topper, the sugar paste topper modeling piece to put into a cake that they made. So I still do that for my customers. I have a few customers that I cannot say no to, and but they're not customers anymore. They're like friends. So I keep baking them some cakes, but in general, I stopped baking. Um, I stopped baking, and I dedicated myself to two things: to run my business as as a coach. I'm sorry, my mind is just going everywhere. I have notes, I'm reading my notes right now, but my mind is going everywhere because i'm trying to keep I'm trying not to forget anything to get to the point. So I started to focus on my business as a coach for cake artists, which is very demanding. It takes a lot of my time and my creative, juices in my mind as well. Because I'm learning a whole new level of things. I'm learning about different marketing techniques. I'm of course getting instructed as a coach as well. I'm taking classes and courses, and I'm educating myself again. I'm starting projects in a different way because to be a coach, I mean, you need to be certified, all of that. So I'm working on all of that. It is very time consuming. It takes a lot of my thinking time, my brain time. And in the other hand, I'm also, as I mentioned before, you probably know, I am an ESL English teacher, and I've been full of work with my students, with my English students. And I'm in this run of working and learning and organizing a business and starting from sort of from scratch in my coaching business. It's been a long journey to for myself, as well as to grow as a person, to understand myself in order to provide the best results for my coachees. So I'm working on that as well. Also, it's not easy because even though there are many coaches out there, the cake decorating world doesn't have many coaches, and it's like a new thing. So people, we have to start, me and other coaches I've been talking to, we kind of have to start to educate the cake artists and the cake community that yes, a coach for cake artists is also a good thing. It's not just about buying the next cookie cutter. So it's also a process. So all of this process, just to keep it short, I'm not going to keep it short today, probably. This is one of those very personal episodes, but I love to do them. Like I said, this podcast is like my confessionary. So all this process has taken a lot of my mental time and my creative time, and it has, of course, my creativity is focused towards that. On top of that, I've been dealing with some health issues with my back. I've been having a lot of back pain and back problems, which is hard to be sitting down and focusing because of the pain. Some family things that I had to attend to with my dad, who had an operation. I mean, there's been a lot of things in my life going on. On top of that, like everybody, probably if you're listening to this, you're going through that. The economy is not helping. We have to work a lot in order to compensate how expensive everything is, and be very creative on how we're going to spend our money or how we're going to find more money. So all of that is going on. So I lost a little bit my my way of my true creative process. And what I mean my true creative process, for me, that is when I sit down and I create my sugar paste modeling pieces, either for a cake collaboration, for my YouTube channel, that I do my tutorials. Even for me, sometimes I just do it like I need to get there. And I lost that. I lost that, and I didn't realize how much I needed it. So that's why I stopped and I said, okay, I need to go back to that. I need to go back to just sit down in my studio with all my sugar paste and my tools and create. So I did so. I did that. I decided to start. Imagine I'm working. I have a tutorial to do, that I have to be using the camera and everything. But on the side, I'm creating a Christmas project. We're in July, and I'm creating a Christmas project. Christmas and Halloween is very inspiring for me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something for Christmas. I'm not going to publish it. I'm not going to do a tutorial. I'm not going to sell it as a class. I'm just going to do it for the sake of doing it. And I started this process of being creative again. And you have no idea how much that calmed me down and how much that healed so many things that when that were happening at the moment. And I said, I need to share this with my people. I need to share this with my community and let them know how much creativity heals. So I'm going to start talking about the healing process of creativity through some examples. The first example, of course, has to be Cake Friends Stay Creative. Cake Friends Stay Creative started as a group, during the pandemic, to keep the community united and positive. But the beautiful thing, and it's in the name, Cake Friend Stay Creative, and the name came because, if you haven't heard about this, is one of the episodes, because the first, or I think it's the second or the third episode of this show. When it started, as everybody was like, stay safe, stay safe, because it was the pandemic. And I was like, I'm not going to just stay safe. I'm going to stay creative, because being safe is like you're protecting yourself. When you're creative, you're being healed. It's like and also it's like you have a shield of protection. I don't know. For me, that's creativity. So that's what the name was. Cake Friends Stay Creative. And the funny thing is that it ended up to be a healing group. Why a healing group? There were so many stories of our friends going through different things at the time, our cake friends. Um, Depression, uncertainty, family being sick, themselves being sick. People were scared, so scared at the time. And when I shift, or when they enter the group, I didn't shift anything. When they enter the group and they shift their minds toward something creative, is like that was like a safe haven for them. And I'm not saying this because I think it was. It's because they told me so. I have so many stories, so many feedbacks from cake friends, from members of the group, saying, I was in the edge of a depression, and being in this group and being part of the cooperations helped me go through all this dark moment. And I came out at the other side of the tunnel with light and with happiness. Or I didn't know what to do with my business. I didn't know how to change things to cope with everything that was going through the pandemic. And because of the live sessions, because of all of the things that we learned here, you gave me like a boost of new ideas, and now I'm doing things differently, and my business is back on track again. I mean, I have received all of this, and the funny thing is that that wasn't my intention. That wasn't my purpose. The purpose was just to be united through creativity. So my conclusion, hey, creativity has to do something good in here, because when we focus on creativity, we're going to get there later on this episode. When we focus on creativity, it's like you cut the noise of everything that is outside, and that helped many people in the group. The key of this group is that it was only run on, I will say, creativity, of course, uh, positiveness, because it was only focused on positive. That group, it was forbidden to talk about problems in that group. You didn't. So the space was very positive, very safe. When I mean creativity, it was not only because people share and showcase their creative work, but because we share knowledge. We invited people for free to watch the live demos and to see creative artists being creative and learn from them. And it built this sense of community, and it was like a safe haven of creativity, that people heal feelings through that. And we're going to get to the why, to how we get there later in this episode. But like I said, I had to give you this example. Cake Friends Stay Creative is a healing group, and it's healing because of creativity. Let me just take a quick break here so we can listen from some of our sponsors. And when we come back, I will give you two more examples of how creativity heals in the cake decorative world. And Today's episode is brought to you by Saracino. Not only because I use their products, especially their sugar paste modeling products called Pasta Model that I use for all my collaboration and competition pieces, but also with their free monthly magazine, We Love Pastry, a magazine filled with absolutely incredible, easy to follow, and unique tutorials created by very talented artists from around the world. We have interested interviews and blogs, and there are always ways to win products from the Saracino family. You can download it for free every month, and I will be leaving the links to their webpage so you can enjoy this great magazine every month. Thank you, Saracino, and thank you, We Love Pastry Monthly Magazine, for being part of the Art K Coach podcast. Now, two more examples of how creativity can be healing is one, cake collaborations. Also, some minor feedbacks that I have received from participants of cake collaborations. I have curated so far three, I think four cake collaborations, and I mean, you have no idea how many times I received comments like, I was so overwhelmed with work, and through participating in the collaboration, that I thought it was going to be more work on top of that. Actually, made me go to my creative zone and feel better about my work and be more creative about everything that I do. I get that. I get also people who not only made one but two pieces because they said I was so in the zone and I was not sure what to do, that I wanted to give, I just did one and then I did the other, and I feel so good about myself. So all of this happens on a cake collaboration. Why? Because when you make your creativity run wild, um, stories, I mean, when some of the artists told me about being depressed, about feeling like an imposter with imposter syndrome, all of that is healed through creativity. Even though you have some rules, and even though some of the collaborations you need to have an inspiration image that will set you, some guidance in what you're going to do, your creativity, being creative around those two, the rules and the inspiration, is actually rewarded. As creative as you are in a cake collaboration, that's the piece that is going to stand out. That is the piece that everybody's going to talk about. So people, I mean, the artists that are part of the collaborations, they want to be as creative as possible. And that creates so many positive things. You feel rewarded, you feel acknowledged by your peers, your work is talked about, your piece shows in different magazines. All of that is possible through a cake collaboration. So, definitely another example of healing through creativity. I am absolutely thrilled to announce a new sponsor of the RK Coach podcast. We are now working together with Cake the Great magazine. Cake the Great magazine is a quarterly international magazine, and it's an open platform for all levels of sugar artists around the world. We will showcase your talent, skills, update sugar, world news, and more. You can have the next issue, and you can already have the March issue of 2023 in the links that I will be leaving here in this episode, and stay tuned for the next issue to come. Thank you so much to my sweet dear friend Tasnuta Allen, award-winning cake decorator and editor of this magazine. And thank you to Cake the Great magazine for being one of the sponsors, and welcome to the family of the Art Cake Coach podcast. A third example that I can think of when I think of how creativity heals is when I started being or wanting to be a sugar paste modeling artist. I would say that was could be about 9 years ago, 9 years ago. There were some people that I admired, and one of the things, artists that you admire, you look up to. One of the things that I remember thinking is like they have a specific trademark, you see their piece and you say this is from this person because it's original, it's from them, it's something that comes within them, and it's unique. And I wanted to get that. I wanted to get to that point. I wanted to have first become better at modeling, and second have this, this thing that I said this is mine. So I started working and working. I tend to get to I'm a Virgo, and I tend to overthink a lot and get everything. I tend to be in my head a lot, and creativity doesn't work like that. When you are going to be creative, you need to mute your mind, and we're going to get to that in a second in this episode. So I started working very hard trying to create something that was unique, you know me. And like I said at the beginning, I was very into my head, and nothing worked. Only when I let it go, when I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to do it for the sake of doing it. I don't have any plans around this. I'm just going to be in the zone. And we're going to talk about being in the zone. That's when my dolls came out. So I had a lot of issues with eyes. Everybody did this beautiful big dolly eyes. This doll eyes are very big, very bright, full of colors. They painted it, and it was, like a porcelain doll eyes. And I had issues. They were not, I couldn't. They were not good. And I decided to just put a black ball just to see how the eyes, I was, trying what to do. So the face was quite good. I just wanted to, feel that eye with something. So I took a little ball of black sugar paste, put it in there just to see the expression. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's what I want. That's that's what I need. And I realized that going back to my childhood, how much the Muppets and the Dark Crystal puppets and all of that, I loved the expression in those dolls. And they all had black eyes. I was like, this is it. So that's how my black eye doll collection came to be. And for me, it was healing. For me, um, it was the time that I felt that when I embraced that, I felt in a safe space. I lost track of time. All my senses were so busy and so inspired that my mind got quiet. And when my mind got quiet, that's when all the creativity, run free. And I produced many dolls at that time. Of course, my modeling skills were not as they are today. And probably today they're not as they will be 10 years from now, very likely. But at the time, I used all the capacity that I had to create these dolls. And until today, I treasure them. I still have a few because with time they get damaged, but I treasure them. And I haven't done a black eye doll in so long that the other day I said, you know what? I need to do a black eye doll 9 years later with the things that I know now. And that's what I'm working on. That has been my healing therapy this past few days. And it's incredible how much that going back to that has quiet even the economical problems, even the things that you're like, oh, I have to pay this bill, how am I getting this bill, even that has come to a second place. And it's like, well, you figure it out. You always figure it out. You organize yourself, you organize your business and your finances, and you will do it. Like you have done it all the time. So I don't get worried anymore. Not like forever, but at that point, I'm not worrying about that. And all of that through what? Through creativity. So actually, while I was doing while I was working in this doll, that's when it came to me. I have to do an episode on how creativity is healing. But let's define first what is to be creative to see what can we do in order to use it as a tool for healing any issues that you could have. As your K coach, I am here to help you. If you want to go a little bit further in your journey to organize your time, set clear goals, maybe teach, work on your mindset, or set a roadmap for results, especially for results and success, I am here for you. Why don't you book a free discovery call with me? I will be leaving the links here in this episode so we can chat, we can talk about what you really need, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other. Remember, I have just one mission in this cake world. First is to unite the cake community as one and to make you, my cake artist, my sweet friend, understand the importance of investing in you. Like I said, I will be leaving the links here in the description of this episode so you can book a 30 minutes free discovery call with me. And just remember, in case nobody said this to you today, I do appreciate you and I want you to stay safe and stay creative. Okay, just before we continue, because I said I was going to talk to you about the definition of being creative. I just said before, you can heal all the issues that you have. Well, not all the issues, certainly. I'm not saying here that you don't do anything in your life, just be creative and you will be healed. No, I'm not saying that. But what I mean is, you can heal a lot of feelings and a lot of, you know, places, not places, these things when you're in your head, and you feel like, oh, I suffer from imposter syndrome or suffer from self-doubt and all of that. That can be healed through creativity. That's what I meant. I just want to clarify that. So, like I said before, I look for the definition of being creative. Guess what? We have now Chat GPT that you can ask anything you want. So I asked Chat GPT what it means to be creative, and the answer was this: to be creative means to generate or express original and unique ideas, thoughts, or solutions in a way that is imaginative, innovative, and often unconventional. Creativity involves breaking away from traditional patterns, thinking outside of the box, and bringing something new and valuable into existence. That is the concept, according to ChatGPT, of what is to be creative. So let's break it down into our cake business. Your ideas, solutions for an edible art. I mean, when it means that you express original and unique ideas. Yes, you have your own ideas and you put that into cake, right? So, solutions for an edible medium. It's not easy. I mean, I know a lot of artists that work with other mediums, come and work with edible mediums, and you can adapt. But still, you have to think of food safety. You have to think of making everything edible because this client is going to eat your work. So, I mean, we find solutions, a lot of solutions, and we show something unique and unconventional. A cake for us, cake artists, is no longer a cake. It's a medium to express our art. We break away from so many traditional ways of baking. We break away. I mean, have you seen the shows lately? Like, is this cake or is this real cake? I forgot the name. I mean, it's a shoe. No, it's a cake. You can eat it. It's like a painting. No, it's not a painting. It's a cake and you can eat it. We constantly think outside of the box. We are artists. We're engineers. We're entrepreneurs. We're mathematicians. We're Salesforce. You name it. We are so many things in one. So, are we creative? Of course we are. Do we need creativity? Yes, we do. What do we do with cake? What actually we do with the cake? We bring something new and valuable into existence. So I guess we pretty much get into the definition of being a creative being. Okay. Now, in the other hand, we know we're creative, right? We know we work with creativity and how creativity is important to us. Can you be creative 24/7? Probably not. Because creativity comes from within. So you need to work on that within. And we're going to get to that in a point. Because the other day I saw this interview that really struck me because this person was talking not about what is to be creative, but what implies. What does creativity implies? And when I saw this interview, this person said that to be creative is to be brave, is to pass fear, is to deal with rejection, with imposter syndrome. And newsflash, that doesn't go away, but it is healed by the result. That's what the person said. Okay. I agree and I disagree. Yes, Creativity is going through all of that. You do have to be brave. You do have to pass fear. You do have to deal with rejection, not only your client's rejection, your own. We're so hard on ourselves. We suffer from imposter syndrome, all of us. Doesn't matter how many podcasts you have listened. I have one, by the way, but or how many books you have read about imposter syndrome. It comes back at some point or another. It just lasts less time, and you get out of it easily, but it comes back. um, and this person says that it's healed by the result. I agree and disagree. Creativity heals, yes, but I don't think it's by the result. I actually think it's by the process. Through the process, you face all your demons. You face your doubts. You doubt yourself. You overthink. You face, the imposter syndrome. You're afraid of the result. But magically, when all the noise goes away and you stop your mind and focus on your work, and your senses get busy working, it's like all of your senses are in there. They're working on that piece or whatever it is that you're doing, and your mind goes quiet. And that point when your mind goes quiet, that's what we call I'm in the zone. It's like everything vanishes and it is magical. It's like I can feel it right now. I don't know if you can feel it. I'm talking to you and I can feel it, like, my mind is being quiet just talking about it. It's not easy to get to that zone, but I'm sure if you are a cake artist and you have done a project that you're passionate about, that you really want to do, I am sure you have experienced this. I'm more than sure of that. Um, it's funny because when I think about this, I think about mindset, right? Because not mindset, mindfulness. When we study mindfulness, it's about quieting everything around us and just being there at the moment. And I can only compare that to when I am in my creative zone, because even when I meditate, my mind goes everywhere. My mind is not quiet when I meditate. Sometimes, if I am, walking in the nature or exercising, yes, it can get quiet. But the true moment when my mind gets quiet is when all my senses are busy creating. For me, it's a meditation. I always said this being creative for me is a meditation. I used to do cross stitch embroidered, and that was a meditation for me because I was so focused on counting 1, 2, 3, 4 and changing the thread and the needle and everything, and following the design, that my mind just went very quiet and I got into that zone. So we cannot separate being creative with being mindful or with having a positive mindset, because at the end of the day, mindset is finding yourself, and you find yourself in art. When I say find yourself, again, I don't want to be all woo, it's like, oh yes, meditation, even though I like it, but maybe it's not for everyone. And when I see find yourself, it's like, oh, um I found myself. No, it's like when you're meeting somebody, you're seeing this person and you kind of have a first impression. You read this person, you see what you like, what you don't like, and you make a conclusion about a person. So imagine we do the same to ourselves. You find yourself, not like, oh, I found yourself. That's not going to say the word, but that's a little bit of what. So, uh, it's like see you for who you really are. So when you meet somebody and you get a first impression, what is your first impression about yourself? It's like when I ask, what are you? You say, well, I'm creative. Okay, that's a first impression about yourself. I am stubborn. Okay, I am a procrastinator. That's a first impression about yourself. The first thing that comes into your mind when you talk about yourself, that could be your first impression. When you see who you really are, as you will see somebody else, you see your talents, you see your virtues, but you also see your flaws. The thing is, we realize that we all have it. We all have talents and virtues, but we all have flaws. We tend to think that we don't, but we do. Oh, we definitely do. And what do we do with that? We embrace them. Okay. We embrace every single part of ourselves. We forgive every single thing that we need to forgive about ourselves. We celebrate what we need to celebrate. Even the flaws are for celebrating. And then you be happy, proud, and joyful for the person, the artist, or the baker that you are. The only thing, the only way that I found for me to have a positive mindset, and I said that I shared this on the Instagram yesterday. Like, what do you do to keep positive? Because, like I said, this month I want to dedicate everything to mindset, the social media, and the podcast. Because having a positive mindset is not like, yeah, I'm happy and like the clown of the circus all the time. No, it's not that. It's you're going to get mad. There are things you're not going to like. You're going to find things in yourself that you didn't want them to be there. But you're also going to find beautiful things about yourself. And you take all of that and you use it as tools to be positive as much as you can, because you're going to get mad eventually. But don't stay mad. Just go back to, okay, but you know what? Like, for example, imagine you're doing a creative work and it's not working out. You're like, you're so stupid. You can, no, this is not working because maybe one of your flaws is that you get impatient and, you don't take the time to do things correctly. So embrace it. What do? We keep working. And then you change it to a positive mindset. We keep working on the things that I like. That cuts away a lot of fear of judgment, actually, because one of the things that we fear when we're creating is how much people is going to judge us. But when you have judged yourself first, when you are aware of all your flaws and all your virtues, uh, and when you realize that you are that person that might not be perfect, but it's you, like I said, with all your virtues and your flaws. It doesn't matter what everybody says, doesn't matter what people will judge you about, because you have judged yourself first and you have gone through the healing process of that. You have fought the battles. I always compare to, I don't know if you are, any of you out there are a lot of the Rings fan. I am. And when Gandalf fought the Balrog and he kind of died and came back as Gandalf the White, and he went to meet the King of Rohan, there was the advisor of the king who was poisoning the king with words from Saruman. And Gandalf turned around and said, I didn't go to through hell and back to deal with you. It's something like that. You didn't go through the whole process of judging yourself, of finding yourself, or embracing yourself to listen to other people's judgments. It's like you're over it, you're above it. So yeah, the what am I talking? Because you will say, Christian, why are you talking about all this? Because to find your creative zone, to find your true creativity, you first need to find yourself. And you need to be in a mindset that will allow the good and the bad to come out without affecting you. See, I gave you a conclusion because I've been rambling all morning. Um, Find creativity, or being creative is also finding yourself, because it's the only way to cut the noise and to get to that zone when you say, this is me, this is who I really am. And that magical place, in that magical moment, that's when your true art, your innovation, and your superpower comes out. How can you achieve it? Because I don't want to leave you with all, like, theories about being mindful or having a positive mindset or finding yourself through creativity. This is what I do. When I feel overwhelmed and when I feel that I'm not in my creative place, I make a list. Sorry, I make a list of the things that I love about myself, or the things that I love about my work. I go to my previous work, my dolls, my Instagram, the pictures that I have, and I start looking at it as a fresh with fresh eyes. and to see all the amazing things that I have done and the ones that I like the most. What are the characteristics in those pieces that I like the most? Uh, and I embrace it. I celebrate it, and I make a list. I literally make a list, like, oh, I like the face of this doll, or I like the color that I use. I love how I made this hand. I love the structure. I really took care of the structure and everything. When I literally make a list, then I make a list of my flaws. But first the positive. Then I go to the flaws, like, well, I wish I had done these eyes better, or I wish I had neat the sugar paste better. If I had a better structure, this wouldn't fall off. Okay, and embrace it. What is the worst thing that can happen if it already happened? You're already seeing it. The things that you didn't like didn't work. So if you embrace them, they're probably not going to work again, right? Love and celebrate the things that you love about your work. Then write down and embrace all the flaws. When you write them down, you acknowledge them and they won't happen again. It's like it's sort of something like in the, when people, the bully story. I tell the bully story is when people get bullied, and you have a bully and you have somebody who gets bullied. If you didn't know your flaws, if this person knows their flaws and he embraced that, or she embraced them, the bully won't affect him or her, because it's like, you cannot say anything that hurts me, because I know myself, so it won't hurt me, and the bully will go away. So it's sort of something like this, but with yourself. After I do this two list, like I said, I embrace the things that I love, and then I embrace my flaws. I celebrate, sorry, the things that I love, and then I embrace my flaws. I take at least 3 deep breaths. Could be more. If you won't have time, maybe 6 will be better. And you lower your shoulders, relax your back, remove all expectations and stress, and you get in the zone, because you already know, you have a blueprint of what works and what doesn't work. So you get in the zone. Of course, try to make it in a moment that nobody will interrupt you and you will have time to be there. If you don't have that time to, to do all this process, you do something that I usually do, because sometimes we're busy, we take orders and we have things to do. So what do? If I'm working in an order, or I'm working in a piece that has a deadline and I'm kind of stressed about that, I stop for 15 minutes. Okay, it's not going to cost you much. In those 15 minutes, just go and do something else that you love. I usually go grab a piece of sugar paste and just start modeling a face, because I get in the zone. I get so concentrated when I'm modeling a face that I just get in the zone. So even though if it doesn't work, I'm not going to do anything with it, I just get into that zone. Or I make sugar paste bows. I love to make sugar paste bows. So I do that. I stop for 15 minutes and I do something that I feel like doing, that I want to do, because that will bring me back to my happy place. And then I go back to work. And I think there is maybe more tedious or get me stressed, but with a different mindset. So you have here 2 solutions to get into your creative zone that I really, really hope you can use. My sweet, sweet friend, if you like this episode, if you love this podcast, I will kindly ask you to leave me a started review, whatever you're listening to this episode, that is available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and I think a couple of other ones. But in any of those, just leave me a review. Leave me a couple of stars, or 5 stars if you like it. So people will find this episode, the algorithm would put it out there, and more of our K community will benefit from it. Share it with your friends. Download the episode and share them. Share them on your social media and tag me, because I will answer you back. Of course I will. And send me comments, send me your review, send me your feedback. Even if you don't agree with anything that I say, I would love to hear your opinion. You can find me in any of my social media accounts. I will be leaving the links here on this episode description. I'm on Facebook as The Art Cake Experience. I am on Instagram at Christina_The Art Cake Experience. Or you can even find me on YouTube, my YouTube channel, The Art Cake Experience channel. So thank you so much for listening. listening. And please, please, please leave me your review and leave me your comments and your feedback. I would love to hear what you have to say about any of this episode.